Yeah, let's do it.
It's easy to sum it up. We're talking about practice.
Because it's about as casual as it gets. What's the problem now?
That's a clown question, bro.
I think we ought to send a beating at least.
World champions!
Start playing with some jam in here. Let's go.
Philadelphia, looking as only you can look. Woo!
Here we go.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Diamond Club Podcast. I'm John Hunter. This is Chris Lahiff, and this is Danny the Pitchman Hart, and we have a special guest today, my guy Matt Breen from the Inquirer. Matt, what's up?
What's up, guys? Thanks a lot for having me on.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So, Matt, a little bit about yourself. You want to tell the people who you are, what you do?
Yeah, I cover the Phillies for the Philadelphia Inquirer. I'm from Northeast Philadelphia, and went to the Phillies since 2015. So, have not seen a lot of good baseball, but it's been better recently. Still waiting to October. Maybe this is a year, maybe not. We'll see. It'll at least be a fun final month of the season.
Absolutely. So that's actually how I wanted to kind of start this off. My first question for you is this the most up and down season you've ever seen as a reporter for them and following them? I mean, there's a MVP candidate, a strong MVP candidate, a strong Cy Young Award candidate, and some way somehow they're still 3.5 out. You would think that would be like a recipe for success, right?
Yeah, it would be pretty crazy if they have the MVP winner, they have the Cy Young winner, and they don't make the playoffs, which, like you said, it's very possible. It's more likely that happens than they do make the playoffs at this point, just going off like Fangraphs odds. So, I mean, if that happens, it's insane. And inconsistent is probably the best way to describe the season. You win, you get swept in Arizona. So it's like, you really never have a true feel for this team. And it's once you think their season's over, like that, it was that Thursday when Eflin gets scratched, Hoskins says he's having season-ending surgery, and they lose that night to the Diamondbacks. To me, I thought that was the end. That was the most dire day of the season. Absolutely. And then they go out and win 4 games in a row. So and score 7 runs a night. So you can't have a feel for. I don't think anybody knows what this final month's going to be like. They can totally bottom out like they have in past Septembers, or they could rip off 8-10 wins in a row like they've done the last month. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. I just like you guys watch this team every night. I'm around this team, and I struggle to have a true feel for what this team really is, because it seems like I see a new team.
Yeah, I feel like you said, John, they got the recipe for success, but they also have an absolute recipe for disaster. Like we have just tonight's game in general. We have Matt Moore starting, obviously not ideal. Freddie Galvis is leading off. Then you have Torreyes, you have Marchand in the lineup. You have Matt Vierling in the lineup. If you said that this was our lineup going into September and we're only 3.5 games out, it's like, oh, it's a miracle. But it's it's very inconsistent. We're so star loaded at the top, I guess. You have the front, one of the front runners for MVP and Cy Young, but then every night the 6, 7, 8 hitters, tonight even the 5th hitter in Bonifacio, who doesn't really belong on the MLB roster. It's just it's so inconsistent. It's ridiculous, and it has to be one of the craziest up and down seasons in recent memory, definitely. And we're still have a chance. It's insane.
Absolutely.
No, and you're right. And then sometimes you have Phillies fans who are they don't want the heartbreak. They're like, no, I'd rather them not be good for the rest of the season. I'm like, why? I'm like, for me, I love where we are right now. It's exciting. It's exciting to watch every night. Who would have thought that we're going into the September 1st tomorrow, and the Phillies could easily be 2.5 games out tomorrow morning. And if that doesn't excite you as a Philadelphia Phillies fan, I don't know what does. And he must have.
I think Matt got he's been having a little bit of issues with his connection there.
I lost you guys.
All good. And you're back.
Now I was on my computer, it crashed, and now I'm on my phone, and I think it might come in a little bit better.
This seems a lot clearer. Yeah, it does. It absolutely.
Definitely.
All right. So I mean,
sorry.
Good.
Yeah,
Sorry,
so
all good.
I was saying, that like Philadelphia Phillies fans, like they're not being optimistic. They want this team to fail right now, and I don't understand why. Because like as I was saying before you got cut off, is I love this time. September 1st, they could be 2.5 games out tomorrow morning. It's fun. Like we've seen this happen before in 07. Like it's fun to watch. And we always allude back to that these guys need the playoff experience. Are they going to win the World Series? Probably not. But when you get that taste,
Definitely not.
you get hungrier. You get hungrier for 2022.
Absolutely.
And when you get hungrier for 2022, it makes the rest of your team better. It makes possibly free agents want to come here and play for this organization, for this fan base.
Yeah, and it makes the management, Dombrowski, obviously more hungry himself to go be like, all right, let's go get over the hump. They obviously they were hungry themselves. They tasted it a little bit. Let's make moves this offseason. Let's go get aggressive. Bring in a couple more pieces. Definitely need depth. We lack depth big time. Like our outfield depth alone. Like the Braves went and got Soler, Peterson, and Duvall. We didn't do anything for our outfield in the trade deadline. It's hurting us.
They didn't do anything for their major league depth at all.
Yeah.
They have depth. I think they have. Like, this is the thing. I feel like there's a lot, and correct me if I'm wrong, but like there's times where I feel like today I saw the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs lineup.
Yeah.
That lineup, I saw a few guys that I would rather see up in the big leagues right now, taking place for a lot of these guys, or doing something. You know what I mean? Like, you could have, like, why not give Mickey Moniak a shot tonight over Bonifacio? Why not give him the opportunity? Because to be honest, anytime that he's ever come up here, he never really got an actual shot. There was times where he would come in, he would start, then get lifted in the sixth inning. Then there was time every time he played, or when you bring him up, he was the hottest hitter in AAA at one point. They bring him up and they go, all right, well, you're just going to pinch hit 2 days after you came up. How is that beneficial to him, Matt?
Yeah,
I mean,
I totally agree. I'd love to find out who Mickey Moniak is instead of just accepting that he can't be an everyday center fielder. Give him a chance, let him run him out there and find out who he is. He, like you said, he had an 800 OPS in AAA. See what that translates to at the major league level. Is he going to be the number one overall pick superstar? No. But I'd like to see what he actually is, and the only way to find that out is to play him. But it's obvious that they don't have confidence in that right now.
Right. So, and Mickey's the only one who's actually played center field. Like, he's the legit, like, he's played his entire career. Like, it boggles my mind sometimes with the moves they make.
When I see him play, and I've brought this up, I think, to Danny before, when I see him play, there's a lot of times where I see a lot of similarities in, and obviously he's not Benintendi. Andrew Benintendi. When I see his approach at the plate, when I see a lot of things, these are the things that and like his struggles. It's weird because I watched a lot of Benintendi when he was at the Red Sox. Haven't really seen much of him with the Kansas City Royals this year, but like, when I see stuff like when I saw the way he was I've seen the way he plays. He's a solid defensive player. He's not going to set the world on fire offensively, but he's okay he can do his own in the lineup. That's where I think Moniak could be. But again, how do I know? I haven't seen him. You don't really give him any opportunity to actually do anything.
Yeah, he's only had a chance to fail so far. Yeah,
you do. You have to find out.
What Jorge Bonifacio can do. So we had to know
for the future. Yeah,
everyone needed to know what Jorge Bonifacio could do. That's what was needed.
Like, so, I remember saying this in like one of the first episodes when Moniak actually did get a chance to come to the major leagues. I said Girardi has to sit him down and be like, listen, we're going to need to see what you could do. You get a 30 game sample. Don't have to worry about losing your job. Don't have to worry about losing the lineup spot. You're not going to get pinch hit for. You're not going to get double switched. Have all the confidence in the world and go play. Like, why are we looking at Bonifacio right now? Why not give Moniak a chance? When are you going to find out what you have with him? You're not. You're just going to let him like fall through the minors the whole time and then just going to let him walk in free agency. Like, you have to give him somewhat of a chance. Why not 30 days right now? You got to, if he plays well in this 30 game stretch in a playoff run, like, that would boost his confidence, obviously, for next year, big time. Like, we need to find out if we have something with him, and there's no answers right now.
I can't imagine that he would do any worse than Bonifacio.
Yeah.
Am I wrong in saying that he probably couldn't do worse than this? And it's not that he's doing bad. I'm not saying Bonifacio's doing bad. What I'm saying is this is probably like you're either going to get much better, or you're going to get better, or you're just going to be right where he's at.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, so why not give him a shot? I don't know.
Yeah, and having Moniak up here with Bryce Harper, I mean, it's we all know the leader of Bryce Harper. Like we all know. Like so, and I feel like that would be beneficial to him. And even with McCutchen, up here, like you got two veteran outfielders. Having Moniak on this team in between those two guys in the outfield, you can go nothing but up. Like if he fails, then he fails, but he's not given the opportunity to fail. Instead, we're rolling out a Double Herrera. We were rolling out Roman Quinn. In our center field spot was terrible for the first 30 games of the season. Like that very well could cost the Phillies a playoff shot because of how the center field play was and not knowing what we had with Mickey Moniak.
Sure.
Would Mickey Moniak have 15 home runs? Probably not, but we didn't know what we had. We know what wasn't working, and we just never gave him the shot.
Definitely.
Exactly.
So another thing I wanted to talk about is, Matt, you have a better track on what's going on as far as like the injury stuff like that. Real Muto, is there anything on that on what's going on with him right now?
It seems like they were hopeful that he'd be able to play tonight, and that obviously didn't happen. So I don't think they're going to play tomorrow just because of the weather. So we're looking at Thursday, a makeup game. I would expect him to be in the lineup, playing first base, possibly on Thursday. I think his shoulder is probably a little bit more than what they're saying it is. It seems like to me, that was more the motivation for him to play first base was because of the shoulder, even though they said it's not. It's just a way to keep him in the lineup more often. But that plan came out, and then a day later, Gene Segura mentions that JT has playing with a shoulder. And then Joe Girardi and JT both admit that, yes, he has a shoulder, but it's not that serious. But it probably is. So
imagine Gene Segura being the guy who breaks the news that he's hurt. Like
that's the last post-game interview Gene Segura will ever be allowed to do.
1,000%. 1,000%.
And then the ankle, the ankle comes after that. So you've already lost Hoskins. You can't afford to lose Real Muto. So the Phillies have to hope that he's in the lineup Wednesday or Thursday, whenever that next game is.
So I saw today, and that's another thing I want to get to, is the Eflin and the Rhys Hoskins injury. I saw today that Rhys Hoskins underwent successful surgery today, which is a plus. I saw Dave Dombrowski mention that in an interview today, which is huge because we needed him to be healthy for next season. And then Eflin. I mean, was that not the weirdest situation with him where he is back and then ends up getting put on the IL? Looks like for the rest of the season now, for the exact thing they apparently said he had when he was rehabbing.
Yeah, it's just he's obviously had these knee injuries in the past, and he's a guy that wants to pitch. He wants to be out there, but I think he knew the whole time he was rehabbing that it still was not 100%. And the day he was supposed to pitch, it flared up on him again, and that shut him down. And then a day later, he ended up testing positive for COVID. So that puts him out for 10 days. So now he can't rehab his knee with the team. He's quarantining by himself. So that it was going to be a long shot for him to be able to just if he didn't have COVID and he just had the knee and he could come to the ballpark every day and rehab and work through that. It was going to be a long shot for him to come back in September anyway, just because it was such a process to get to that point. And then once you take that 10-day window and you put him on the shelf for 10 days and then bring him back, it's just there's not enough time. And that's a tough loss because I know they haven't had this guy since, late July, but it was a huge boost to have him coming into the rotation right before the final month of the season. And, what you're seeing tonight, this would be Zach Eflin's night to pitch. So it's just a really, that's pitching is – the offense is great, but you need to be able to pitch to win, especially in September. And if you're talking about the playoffs, so it's just a shame that the Phillies, lost out on the chance to have him this month.
Absolutely. I mean, it is, but and it's huge. But like I mentioned this on this podcast before, I'm not sure how many people really realize this, but in starts by Matt Moore, the Phillies are like 9-4.
Amazing.
Which is insane. It does not saying that he pitched great or well or anything, but some way, somehow, when he starts a game, They're 9-4 in those starts, which is, in my mind, I think that's pretty impressive.
And it's funny.
They're able to figure something out for him to
Yeah.
win where they win games.
Game one in the DS. Are you starting Matt Moore?
Throw him in.
Absolutely, you have to.
Let's win that game.
It's funny you bring up Matt Moore because I hopped on Twitter tonight and the first thing I saw was I can't believe Matt Moore's still pitching after one inning. Meanwhile, 2 weeks ago it's like I can't believe they took him out after the sixth inning. I'm like Joe Girardi just can't get any love. And like listen, me, Danny, and Joe, we're always hard on Joe Girardi, But like he, for me, I feel like he did the right thing. Taking him out there, you're trying to win the game, not try to throw a no hitter. And if you see your pitcher faltering, it was the right move. And there was only one bad pitch that game. Unfortunately, it came from Archie Bradley, and it was a home run. It didn't mean anything, but Joe Girardi did the right thing. Like, who was Joe Girardi supposed to wheel out tonight? Like, I don't know who you're going to wheel out. Like, Matt Moore has, like you said, he's 9-4, and the Phillies are 9-4 in his starts, which is a ridiculous stat.
Yeah,
and it's not like they are choosing to put him in the rotation. There was, forced their hand. They put him in the bullpen a couple of times. It's just you have nobody else to pitch, and you hope you get the best. You hope you get 5 innings. You're not hoping for 6 no-hit innings. If he can give you 5 quality innings, that's all you can hope for. And that's tough.
This is going to end up being, and I hope anyone who's watching, any baseball fan, mainly Phillies fan, realizes his saving grace on this season is going to be all the injuries that they were able to. They're actually. It's crazy that they're 3.5 games out and they've lost a starting pitcher. Their best power at the time was their best power hitter. They lost. McCutchen I felt like he was lost for days because he couldn't find himself. It's just Didi Gregorius has been out. Real Muto has been hurt at points. Bryce Harper was hurt at some point. There's been so many injuries to this team this year, and for them to really only be 3.5 games out in September 1 tomorrow is pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's been like we said, the weirdest season ever. MVP candidate, Cy Young candidate, and then we have a lineup like tonight, and it's just like how the hell are we 3.5 games out? It's been so up and down, it's ridiculous.
If I sat there and told you that if I just flat out just said this team had an 8-game win streak at one point, they have a Cy Young Award candidate and an MVP candidate. What do you think they did this year?
And then my next sentence was,
people will probably be like, I think they probably went to the World Series. Nope.
Yeah. You say that,
they're not.
And then,
they're just not. They're just not there.
And then I just say, and our day before September 1st's lineup is Freddie Galvis leading off, Bonifacio batting 5th, Vierling, Marchand. The lineup is insane for a team that's only 3.5 games out.
Who are these guys?
Yeah, for real.
I honestly, I'll admit this. I cover the Phillies at the ballpark almost every night. I did not know Jorge Bonifacio was in the system until they called him.
Neither did I.
I will admit that.
Listen, neither did I. And I feel like I'm a Phillies guy, and I'm like, who's Bonifacio?
This is the thing. I know who he is. I had no idea that he was there. I didn't know he was there.
He's been there.
I didn't. Yeah.
There's no excuses.
I
did not know.
And he's been raking. He was raking in AAA at one point.
You definitely want to think of him as an option in a playoff stretch at the end of the year, though. That's he's our 5th batter in center field tonight. It's crazy. The fact that I don't know, just such a ridiculous up and down season. We're so front heavy, and the back is just what the hell is going? You just pick people randomly and just throw them in the lineup. And that's the only defense for Girardi is these are the pieces he has to play with. The back end of the lineup every game is 3 minor league contract players that have never really even started in other places, and then you have Matt Moore pitching. What the hell are you supposed to do? A game like today is a wash. If you can win this game, it's fantastic, but can't really expect them to.
No,
your first baseman tonight is Matt Vierling, who has played 6 professional games at first base. So,
yeah,
I don't know. You lost Rhys Hoskins. You don't have JT. No disrespect to Matt Vierling, but that's who you're replacing that production with right now.
Yep, and outfielders just throw him at first base. I get it. Yeah. He had a great AA season this year, and he's played okay at AAA. But Derek Hall is a first baseman. He's sitting in AAA. I get it. Matt Vierling did have a really good AA year, but why not just give Derek Hall a chance? See what he can do. I guess it's because of Corbin. They throw as many right-handed bats in the lineup today, but it would be nice to see other options. Like, I know he doesn't have many, but it would be nice to see what some players can do moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, right now, what really can we say? I mean, the bet right. I do want to mention the Rangers trade. The trade with the Rangers, it actually ended up like has been probably one of the bright spots of this season was the trade with the Rangers. I mean, they got a closer out of it. They got a starting pitcher out of it. And it looks like they were able to rid themselves of misery that was whatchamacallit. I don't even know. I forget what his name is right now. I'm drawing a blank. Spencer Howard. Jesus Christ. Spencer Howard. They were able to rid themselves of the misery of Spencer Howard. I mean, I think I think we all agreed here that we would have probably moved him to the bullpen first to see what he is there before just unloading him. But it looks like Dave Dombrowski and Sam Fulmer is like, all right, we got to get this dude out of here. There's no chance that this is a success. Like this guy's going to be a starting pitcher here. So they moved on. I mean, Matt, do you think I think that was one of the better trades I've seen the Phillies make at a deadline, probably since Hunter Pence.
Yeah, it's as of now, it's a good trade, but it was a month ago. So I don't want to get you can't judge that trade because you don't know what Spencer Howard is yet. Yeah. I'm not ready to give up on Spencer Howard. I know he hasn't done good in Texas either, but there's still potential there. We saw what he did in the minor leagues. He flashed a little bit of that in the majors. He's still a prospect, so we need to see what he does. But importantly for the Phillies, they have Kyle Gibson for next season. Ian Kennedy has been decent in the ninth inning. I know he has some blown saves and he has some rough outings, but I think he's going into the final month of the season. I think he's a dependable closer. So for the Phillies, they got a good return. I don't. You might say 5 years from now, oh my God, I can't believe the Phillies gave up Spencer Howard. He just won his second AL Cy Young or something. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think Spencer Howard has a chance to be a fine middle of the rotation starter, but I don't think he's just a bum that they gave up. I think he's going to be fine. Once he gets himself together out there. But for the Phillies, that's all you can worry about is what they got, and I think they got at the major league level two pieces that are contributing to a playoff run, where Spencer Howard was not contributing to a playoff run, and they got a prospect back. The kid at that Double-A right now pitching good, so we'll see. It's just another. You always want to restock the farm system, and they seemed like they were able to do that along with getting guys to contribute at the big league level.
Yeah, I mean, and also, I mean, we've definitely seen what we're talking about.
He's Jeff Geary.
Jeff Geary.
That's incredible.
That's a great reference.
Geoff Geary. I've definitely seen a lot of. We've seen a couple of different variations of this lineup this year. Right now, how would you set this lineup up? I'm not talking about the Matt Vierling lineup. I'm talking about put Real Muto in the first base spot. What would your idea
playing center?
No. Listen. At this point, we'll just say Odubel will play center. I guess. So your ideal lineup, what would it look like for this team?
I like Odubel and Segura at 1-2 with Harper 3 and JT 4th. To me, I think the only thing that matters in this lineup is constructing two guys to get on base for Harper and somebody to bat behind him that is a threat. So, you look at Harper's MVP case, and everybody points to that he doesn't have any RBIs. Well, it's because he has such little chances with guys in scoring position. So, when a guy is having the season he's having, you have to get people on base in front of him, fix that, and it looks like that's like the formula that they're going with right now, and it's seeming to work. Odubel finally they're having production at the top of the lineup with him. They've tried almost everybody else this whole season and haven't had that. And you have to have someone behind them because you saw when JT was out, they just pitch around Harper. So it doesn't even matter if people are on base or what's going on ahead of him because he's not getting pitches to hit. So you need something behind them, and if you have those 4 in the lineup right now, obviously JT is not healthy, but I think if you're starting those 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, that's ideal for me.
Okay. So a big thing on this podcast we've talked about, we've beat it into the ground. I am a huge Bryce Harper leadoff guy. I understand that he needs it third because you want him to drive runs in. I definitely get that. But as to your point, we haven't really seen guys get on for him. Right? Recently we've seen it happen. But him leading off, I feel like would be very beneficial for this team as far as him getting on base. Weirdly enough, he leads this team in stolen bases. I don't know, which is sad in its own conversation. We saw what he did tonight. He led off that inning and was just bunted one down the line and was able to get on base. His on base percentage is through the roof right now. The other guys that we're talking about are pretty much hit dependent. They have to actually get a hit in order for them to get on base. They don't walk a lot. Segura doesn't walk a lot. Odubel only walks sometimes, and when he does, he's more focused on a bat flip after the walk than he is anything. My ideal thing would be him leading off. Second would probably be Segura. I'd probably go Segura 2, possibly even 3, just to have that. But like having guys like that, I feel like having someone like that to be able to 231 with 2 outs. Yeah, like it's been very hard for that. But him leading off, Segura probably batting 2, maybe go Real Muto 3 right now. I don't know. You could do a lot of things with that, but him leading off, I think, would be very beneficial for this team for how much he gets on base. You know what I'm saying?
I get it, but I don't think his best trait is just working walks and getting on base. I think his best trait is damage and how good his slugging percentage is, what he does. I just think he's your best offensive threat. And it's just a bonus. Just like how Hoskins has a great approach that often leads to walks. But I don't think Hoskins' best trait is that he can work a walk. I think it's what he does, when he makes hard contact and his ability to hit for power. Yeah. And I think you've seen that with Harper. I get it's a discussion to have. I think it's there's validity on both sides. I can see if they batted him leadoff tomorrow, I wouldn't
be mad about it.
Call it crazy because you could back it up, just like what you said. If Joe Girardi went out and said that tomorrow, all right. I mean, that makes sense. But to me, if I'm doing it, I want runners on base when he has the bat in his hands, and the likelihood of that is batting him third. And I want him driving in runs. If he walks while he's trying driving runs, that's fine. Or if he takes a chance like he did tonight, bunting down the line to beat the shift, just to spark something, that's good too. But more likely than not, you're going to see him swinging the bat and doing damage, and I just want guys on base when that happens.
And one of my biggest reasons also, I'm sorry, Dan, but one of my biggest reasons for having him lead off, another thing, is knowing for a fact that he will have the most at-bats on the team. He will your best player will have the most opportunities at the plate. I know 3 isn't too far from 1, but I think you're guaranteeing that he does that. And I think that was also a part that was appealing to me of him leading off. I know with Hoskins, I feel like if Hoskins was in the lineup, I feel like I would be maybe a little bit more sold on that than him leading off right now. Obviously, I feel like he's pretty much handcuffed at 3 with what they're doing right now because of what they don't have. But I think if you had Hoskins, you might be able to slide Hoskins into 2, and then Segura 3, then Real Muto 4, and that could work out as well. But these are all things that they don't have Hoskins right now, so that kind of hurts that. But I was barking up that tree all year. It was just good to hear somebody else's opinion on what they felt on the lineup as well.
Yeah, right. It's actually a guy who knows baseball. It's just I don't want to lead off because he's an RBI guy. And we all know what his RBIs are. But they just weren't there this season.
The problem with our lineup is Harper is the best third hitter on our team, and he's also the best leadoff hitter on the team. We don't have that prototypical leadoff guy. We don't have the on base guys to put in front of him. Like Gene, I love Gene. He hits the ball well. Obviously, He's not that on base guy. Barely over 300 for his career, and then everyone knows Odubel is the most streaky player in baseball, pretty much. Definitely on the Phillies team. So it's like we are handcuffed. Like, what if you want to bat on leadoff? Like we talked about it all year. Like, yeah, I would love that right now. And then I mean, Segura behind him, I think works well just because of his approach. He goes the other way. You open up the hole between first and second. That would be huge for Segura. So like them two alone, I think will be instant offense. But then, like behind it, it is tough. But yeah, it's just we don't have many options, and it just hurts that we don't have them prototypical leadoff guys like we talked about it plenty of times. If we went and got Starlin Marte, that would have been fantastic. A player like that, like if we went and got that guy at the deadline that you could just put in front of Harper, then it would be nice. But we just don't have it.
He just set the record. He's got 20 stolen bases in 2 different leagues in one season.
Yeah, Marte's had a crazy season.
I think in Philly too.
I think I saw that he has the high. I think I saw that he has the highest F4 in the second half.
Yes.
Well, since the trade deadline or something like that, like he's just
since the trade deadline. Yes,
it's just been insane what he's been doing for the American. Like in the American League, he's got the highest F4 in the American League in the second half.
He hasn't been thrown out stealing since he's been in Oakland Athletic. And
Oakland's a huge park, so you're going to. I feel like they always get higher. Your WRC plus and all those other numbers skyrocket because of how big the park is. So because it's all park adjusted, so it makes you look them things different. But yeah, I mean, I've been just. This year has been one of the more fun years to watch. It's crazy, I know, but like watching guys like Harper has made this team fun to watch. It's been fun to be able to turn on the TV and be like, all right, well, they might not be looking that great, but hey, at least we have something to watch. It's Harper. He's been killing it. So one of the things I wanted to ask you is, where do you think he ranks offensively? He's only been here for 3 years, but for the offensive players since probably. I don't know. I saw someone ask a question about since the Mike Schmidt days. Is he in that category of where of the Mike Schmidts of the world, the Ryan Howard 3-season stretch that he was in, like when he was just unbelievable. Was that 2005 to 2007? Was like there's 3 years of which was wild how good he was that year. So I went back and I actually looked at this, and from 2005 to 2007. Harper has the same F4 as Ryan Howard did in that stretch as a Philly in the 3 years that he's played, and he still has a month left.
WAR is. I was looking at this just when I was looking at Howard's Hall of Fame case. WAR does him like
no justice.
Yeah, it's tough for first basemen to separate themselves. Yeah. Yeah.
So even when he in 06 when he hit 58 homers, his WAR was like. Super small. I don't have the number in front of me, but it was not what you would expect 58 homers to be. So I would look at like what's Harper's OPS plus and compare that to what was Howard's, what was Mike Schmidt's in 1980.
Yeah.
But I think it's hard to judge his overall just because the sample size is so small, 3 seasons. Yeah. But to me,
and
I
a
think
60-game season involved.
But Philly's history, it seems like every generation has that player that, like you said, you tune in to see. And you tuned in to see Harper this generation. You tuned in to see either Howard or Chase Utley. You tuned in to see Mike Schmidt. You tuned in to see Dick Allen. So there's always that guy. And for this generation, it's Bryce Harper, and he's having a historic season in MVP-wise, but also in Phillies history. So, his OPS plus compares to Mike Schmidt in 1980, which is just insane. So I think when all said and done, Bryce Harper will be up there with those guys. But right now, it's just such a small sample size that you can't really place him in Phillies history. But I think we all know where this thing is going with him.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Ryan Howard posted a 5.2 WAR in 2006.
Yeah, that's like 1 month for Bryce Harper.
Is that Fangraphs or Baseball Reference?
Fangraphs.
Are you a Baseball Reference or Fangraphs guy, Matt?
Baseball. Well, it matters what I'm looking for. I think Fangraphs is a lot easier to find on
navigate
leaderboard, and there's just. I guess you need to know what am I looking for, but both sites are great. They're both. I don't know what this job would be like without them.
Yeah. I
can't
love
imagine
Baseball
it.
Reference, and John and Danny got me on Fangraphs. I love Baseball Reference, but they got me on Fangraphs.
Chris, in the
They're
beginning of
both
this
amazing.
in the beginning of this podcast, Chris used to like just laugh at me because I would always just be like, "All right, well, I'm looking at Fangraphs," and he'd be like, "Dude, stop with the Fangraphs." Like, it would go, I am. I'm weirdly addicted to like I look at numbers every day. Baseball has been my life. I feel like I almost like I don't know what like you have you. I feel like it's got to be ridiculous for you. It's literally your job, but like me just as a fan, it's crazy how many times my phone has Fangraphs. All my tabs are just
Yeah.
players. It's ridiculous.
He uses
like-
a voice phone for Fangraphs.
Yeah, there's just everything. My whole house just has Fangraph stuff all over it. It's
You got three tabs of just Jorge Bonifacio.
yeah. Trying to Baseball Reference has it. I have Baseball Reference up. It's everything for Jorge Bonifacio. But yeah, man, it's very interesting. And when we talked about we were talking about the Phillies, the farm system, and everything down there. We recently saw a shakeup, a little bit of a shakeup. What Dave Dombrowski did. There's a lot of moving. There's a lot of different things that went along with it. Matt, what did you get out of the shakeup?
Marshawn just hit a 2-run homer to tie.
I saw that.
Oh yes,
Beautiful.
I'm a big Marshawn guy.
Big Marshawn guy.
dude, I love Marshawn. I was reading
Baby.
an article today
Catch
on
up here.
Baby Chooch.
But yeah, I thought it was very significant, and to me, it was foreshadowing of what this offseason is going to be like.
Yeah.
I think this was, Dave Dombrowski came in for a reason. He watched for 8 months, made some really big changes to remove the farm director. That's really a significant change, and to remove the assistant general manager Brian Manetti that oversees the farm director and the scouting department. That's a big change. So we're going to see what his offseason plan is, but I think it's going to be he's not going to sit on his hands and just look at the roster and say they fall short again in September. It's not just going to run it back next season. So I think you'll see changes there. You'll see more changes, front office, more minor league coaching, instructing types of changes. And what I think happened is that, like, I know we probably all agree that analytics are super important in not only in baseball but in all sports. If you want to win, you have to embrace analytics. You have to use it, but you can't let it guide every decision you make. And I think you saw that a lot in the previous front office, and that seeped down to the minor league level where they went super far left with these advanced analytical teachers like Driveline, which is it's a successful company in suburban Seattle that has a lot of success stories with guys going out there and learn how to throw harder and really becoming great pitchers because of the time they spent at Driveline. But the Phillies went a little too far, and they just started hiring almost everybody that if you worked at Driveline, you were going to job in the Phillies minor league system, it seemed like. And they just retooled everything, and they just changed it all. And look at the results. There's hard. That's why you're struggling. You're pulling up Jorge Bonifacio because the talent is just not there. They're not developing talent, and I think that's a big reason why. Just the direction of the minor league system in the last few seasons has just went way too left. You need to bring it in the center. I'm not saying go old school and go the way they taught in the 1980s. It's bring it in the center. Use both use your scouts, use the analytics, and bring it in the middle. And I think that's what you're going to see when they hire a new farm director. And to me, I thought that was a really significant change by Dave Dombrowski for him to come in and see that. And the last thing is that you go back to the John Middleton press conference that when he fired Matt Klentak, and he said that the Phillies historically have a challenge to develop talent, historically to do that. So what's the first thing that Dave Dombrowski addresses? It's really the first significant move besides that Spencer Howard trade that he did was to address why he believes they don't develop talent. And there you go.
Yeah.
Thank God somebody did it.
Yeah, and we had said that in the beginning, and like when we first started doing this podcast about Dombrowski, we're like, he's just not going to sit back and just if this team is like in the hunt, he's going to go make that trade, whether it's for a closer or for a starting pitcher. And he went and he got both of them with the Spencer Howard trade, and he got a young arm in Hans Kulte. I can't even say his name.
Kraus.
Hans Kraus. There it is.
Yeah, Hans Kraus. So yeah, I didn't butcher that name, but yeah,
No,
like we said that Matt's 100% right. Dombrowski he didn't sit back. He made the moves, and he's holding our farm system accountable. And I as a Phillies fan, you have to love that. Like, and if you don't, I don't know what else to tell you. Like,
So I was reading the. Matt. I'm sure you do. I'm sure you do as well. Could do with your job. You read other people's stuff as well. I saw. I believe it was Matt Gelb wrote a piece on like the whole shakeup and everything that happened. And when I read it, I saw some parts of it that I was really, really impressed by. And the one thing that really impressed me is that we're not like impressed, but like I noticed is when he said that the Phillies, what happened here? He got away. That he said that he just didn't feel like all the levels were on the same page, and obviously that's a huge detriment to the players that are moving forward and going, because there's different teaching styles as they went up the ranks. I mean, you don't see that in Tampa, you don't see that in St. Louis, you don't see that in the prize places that usually have pretty solid farm systems.
Yeah, I think what Dombrowski was saying what he meant when he said that was that you had some old school instructors, you had some new school guys, and nobody saw eye to eye and could agree. And it's fine to have different philosophies, different outlooks on life, but like you have to, what the Phillies want to teach is what everybody has to agree on. So you can't stick to your principles, and that's what it sounded like they were having down there, just a kind of like a culture clash, and it didn't work. And it was they took a swing. I'll give them credit on that. They tried to maybe catch up because the Phillies were pretty far behind in analytics at the minor level, major league level. So this previous front office took a big swing, and it didn't work either way. Front office, I mean, major league level or minor league level in the past 5-6 years.
Yeah, I mean, it's just nice to see. I mean, we've seen the way that Dave usually goes about things, and minor leagues is usually something that he depletes. It seems like that used to be like his thing. When he was in Detroit, he did it. When he was in Boston, he did it. I mean, he got rid of Kopech, and which honestly wasn't a bad move. He got rid of Kopech and got rid of Moncada for Chris Sale, which ended up winning them a World Series, the Red Sox. But then it still set them back though, because there was other moves that got made that ended up setting them back even more. But either way, we've seen that style and what he does. So that alone, we were kind of like, oh my God, like, is he going to come here and deplete a farm system that really doesn't have much? Like, I was nervous at the deadline that he was going to, pull a crazy move and try to move Bryson Stott, which I think would have just like, I don't know what he was going to do.
Yeah, I think
because I've seen him do stuff like this before. Because Moncada was the best prospect in baseball at one point, and he was like, "All right, you're out." Like,
Kopech was the best pitching prospect.
That's all we knew about Dombrowski. And so watching afar. So at his first press conference, when he said that he really liked Mick Abel, he just said, like, I really like that kid the Phillies drafted last year, the pitcher. I like him a lot. I'm like, oh, there we go. He's traded.
He's gone. Yep.
But he's gone. But seeing how Dave Dombrowski works in this first season, I think he understands the value. Obviously, he understands. He's been around the game for a long time. But I don't think this is a guy that is just looking to unload every prospect as soon as he can, which is kind of what the outsider, casual Dave Dombrowski observer, like we all were for the past, 15 years, kind of thought of him. I think you're going to see a guy that's going to develop talent, or is going to try his best to develop a minor league system that develops talent. And if he can trade some of that to get a World Series ring like he did in Boston, I don't think anybody's going to complain about it here.
No.
Yeah, I think
that's the number one thing is winning.
Yeah, I think he realizes
develop guys. So
that's exactly. I think he realizes here that he needs to build a farm system that he can deplete. He doesn't even have one. Like, he doesn't. Right. He doesn't. He has a couple pieces, but that's it. Like, he needs to change all the player development issues that we have in order to build a strong farm system like the Rays always have. They can just trade their prospects and try winning now, and they don't even have to worry about signing players because they have a beautiful system there that they just recycle talent, send them away, try winning now. If it doesn't work. All right, we have 44 more prospects that are going to be coming up. Like what they do every year, like obviously is the model for success. And 100%. I think Dombrowski came here, realized I don't have them options. We need to build them options. And even this year alone, like I think his impact has already been felt. Like, yeah, players like Luis Garcia, who was a huge prospect for us, kind of fell off, having a good season this year. Cornelius Randolph didn't play well his whole career, having a decent season this year. Like, you have a couple players having not bounced back, but like they made improvements that they weren't making. And then like players like Stott, he's having a ridiculous August, a great season all around. Like, players are seeming to actually develop this season, which hasn't happened in the past few years, or since we probably all been alive, actually. Or player development's always been terrible. But,
yeah, I mean, you always the key to a successful franchise is, your farm system. Whether you're putting the product on the field or you're using those assets to make trades, and that's what made the Phillies so successful between 2009 and 2011. Like, they were trading their prospects, getting the Roy Oswalds, the Roy Holidays, the Cliff Lees, and then unfortunately after that, they didn't develop anybody from 2012 until the end of right now, where we're at now, where all of a sudden Bryson Stott is a stud who's hitting 400 in the month of August. Mickey Moniak, we know what he's doing. Mick Abel's been
Harper.
He's been hitting the bar.
Bryce Lane,
two-run single.
All right.
Beast.
Wow, that's
can't do that if he's batting leadoff.
MV3. This late in the game, he can.
You know what, Matt? Yeah, it's the sixth inning.
Right, it's the sixth, not the first.
He'd have the pitcher up ahead of him. He'd have the 8-hole guy.
Whatever, Matt. Whatever.
Well played, Matt. Well played.
So, Matt, I have two more things before we let you go. One, how much should we believe in this team?
I think it comes back to we don't know, right? I just think it's enjoy the final month of the season. If you're a Phillies fan, you probably invested a lot of time into this team already, and the goal is to get you to September and to still have a shot. And like Chris said earlier, he loves this time of year. You're 3.5 games back, and that's what it is. That's what you watched for all summer. So believe, why not, right? I don't know if this team's a playoff team. We're going to find out. That's what's going to be fun, but there's no reason to tune out now. This is what you waited for, and it's going to be fun. It might be a disappointing, crushing finish like it was the last 3 years. Maybe this year's different. It feels a little bit different. If there's any of these teams can make a run in September and chase down a 3.5 game deficit, I feel like it's this team more than last year, year before that, or the year before that.
Yeah, why not us?
Oh man, the Phillies just blew their seven run thing. I was hoping they were going to win 7-5.
Now we just start an 8-run streak, or 12, whatever we'll end up with today.
And Matt,
John, earlier you said, do you think this Philly team scores 7 runs tonight? I didn't think yesterday's would, so I don't think so again. But
why not?
Here we are.
Why not?
Let's put up a piece.
And meanwhile, Verlander led off the inning with a single, and then Marshawn hit the home run.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. That bottom part of that lineup that you were crushing earlier, Dan, started to work out.
No, that's all you have to do is you got to talk a little shit, and the good things happen.
Right,
Matt. The big thing on this podcast is me talking shit on Odubel Herrera and him doing things well as soon as I do it. So it's been happening forever. So I wasn't able to talk anything bad about him tonight because he's not playing, but we'll figure it out. My last thing that I want to talk to you about, and this is something that has been a big issue with me. How do I get followed by the Phillies? Matt, can we figure this out?
I think you're on the right, attempt here. You're just tweeting at them. You're being aggressive about it.
Yeah.
And eventually, they're going to have to give in.
I
don't know.
Or they're going to block them.
Have you ever seen the show You?
No.
Familiar? No.
I have.
I've never heard of it.
The guy's a stalker. I told him
for the Phillies Twitter account.
So today, I posted. So I'm a Union Glazer, so like I work downtown, and I have a clear shot to Citizens Bank Park.
You just watch it from afar.
And I've told them today that I've been watching them I'm watching them from afar, and I told them I feel like the main character, Joe.
Joe Goldberg.
And and at the end I just said love Joe on.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that they get the picture here. I just don't understand why it's just so hard to follow me. You know what I mean?
How many people do they follow? It's like a lot, right? It's not like a small amount.
It's definitely
they follow. Yeah, I mean they follow. It's weird. The people that they follow 332 people, which isn't a crazy amount.
That's not a lot at all.
Considering they get followed by considering they're followed by 1.8 million. That's not a lot. That's a small percentage. But the people that they follow
I'm sure there's some questionable ones in there.
Yes, and that's been the topic here this whole time. It's just very random, and I need to know if they work for the organization. Once we go off, I'm going to ask you some questions about some of these people, and I want you to tell me if they work for the organization, because that I feel like you would have a better understanding in this, and I think that could be the success.
I think you can be 333. You deserve.
I think I can, Matt. And you know what? I think someone like you could be my saving grace here. You could be someone who could definitely help me out here.
Well, I will say this: the guy, one of the there's two. There's a woman and a man that run the social media accounts for the Phillies.
Okay.
And the guy sits in the press box a lot, and he sits about 4 seats down from me. So next
come on, Matt.
I will drop a little note.
Matt, if you do that, Matt. Also, I mean, I've noticed that you don't follow me either, and we've been. It seems like me and you have been.
Matt. Each other. I thought I followed you.
No, it seems like me and you've been best friends for like the last week or so. We've been talking a lot, and I really feel like that could happen.
I honestly thought I followed you. I will follow you.
Let's make it happen, Matt. Let's make it happen.
Yo, John, you happen to mention you talking shit on a duel. It's a pinch hit single, so thank you. That's what we do.
What I mean?
We talk shit and get results.
This is what happens.
Also, how does your foreman, or Matt, if you can get John followed by the Phillies, that'd be fantastic, just so his foreman can stop asking him, why the hell are you on your phone in a harness? And you're just like, just trying to get followed by the Phillies.
Why are you hanging off the side of the building waiting for this, taking pictures of the Philly of Citizens Bank Park?
John,
but listen,
that
Matt,
window 3 times already.
I think this could happen. I think this is going to happen now.
We're going to get that done.
Thank you, Matt. I appreciate it. But Matt, thank you so much for coming on. It was a pleasure. You answered.
Had a lot of fun with you guys.
We had a lot of fun, and we hope to see you come on here in the off season. I mean, do you go to the winter meetings or anything? Do you do any of that stuff?
Yeah, hopefully it's not virtual. Last year it was all virtual, so it's kind of we'll see where the world's at. But you know, if there's a normal winter meetings, GM meetings will be at both of those. So
because I would love to have you on after, before, whatever you want to do. I would love to talk to you.
Definitely.
That's awesome, Matt. Yeah, but I appreciate it. Thank you so much for coming on, and we appreciate it.
No, honestly, anytime. I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
And hit that follow button, Matt.
I will when the Phillies do.
Well played, Matt.
Well played.
Well played.
You're right for the jugular.
The whole organization's pulling at your heartstrings.
All right, brother. Talk to you.
See you guys.
All right, brother.
All right, that was Matt Breen from the Philadelphia Inquirer. He is their beat writer. What a guest, man. That was awesome.
Yeah, it was cool.
Listen,
first guest of the career of the Diamond Club podcast, and it was a great one.
And it was a great one.
We had great interaction from everyone, and nothing was inappropriate, which is always a win.
Not yet.
Stop it right now. But no,
John, we got to send him a shirt.
Absolutely, I was going to say that. Send him a shirt.
Yes, and we will. I mean, me and him are best friends now, so we'll be talking.
Yeah. Let me tell you that my best
friend. But yeah, I mean, a big thing that I did want to talk about after Matt got off is I want to discuss the T-shirt situation. Dan, me and Danny are going to be Dan. What did we decide tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, at least
tomorrow, Thursday, whatever day.
Yeah, at least get them separated tomorrow, and then either tomorrow or Thursday after work, I'll come pick up my whoever I got them for, so I can distribute them probably Thursday.
Yeah,
Especially
so
if the weather's terrible tomorrow, like they're saying it is. I don't feel like driving around dropping off T-shirts. But at least you maybe get me a box and just put all my shirts in there.
Yeah, so we'll get everything out. We're gonna, but the next shipment, we'll get it together next week. Probably we're aiming probably towards next week of actually getting it in, and then it probably takes about another week for them to come in, a week or two to get in. So, but thank you everybody who bought the shirts. That was amazing how quickly they went, and seriously, it was awesome. And this is one of them. This is the
nice.
The white one. No, it isn't. I actually really like the white one. I actually almost prefer the white one.
Yeah, so, I'm not responsible with white T-shirts, so I know for me,
I'm a 40-year-old slob.
You're the type of person I feel like out of nowhere spaghetti sauce would be near you.
Yeah, from no
for no reason at all.
Yeah. Or Tegan had stabbed you. One of the two.
Yeah, either way, it's hard to get blood out of a white T-shirt.
Blood will be shed.
So
absolutely.
What we'll do is when we have the shirts situated and then we get the second shirt order in, we will do the live drawing online.
Hey boys.
Matt Breen, baby.
There you go.
There it is.
And the Phillies, not yet.
Still not the Phillies, but you know what? Matt Breen's a plus.
No, so
absolutely is. You're on the right direction.
And I think I can figure it out where we can do the live drawing with the people who have retweeted the tweet.
Okay.
So we'll put the tweet back out there. Listen, give us a follow and retweet. We got the followers. Now we just need the retweets. And listen, if you get the Phillies to follow us, we'll do a second giveaway. How about that? If the Phillies follow John Hunter, and they don't even have to follow the Diamond Club podcast, we'll work on that in the offseason.
We're working on me right now. We're working on me.
I don't understand why Matt.
We're being selfish here, baby. We're all being selfish for John. That's all we need.
Listen,
all I know is me first, and then we'll branch out.
I got a new Twitter, so I got like 18 followers anyway. I'm not going anywhere yet.
So yeah, until
I'm just happy to be there.
Videos. You start getting videos of Asian dolls. You just have PTSD.
Did you just have to? We were doing so well with nice things being said, and then you just talk about the dolls and stuff. Come on, Chris.
So no, Matt should take that guy's phone and follow John and get the Phillies to follow.
I'm loving it that he's in the press box with the guy.
Yeah,
that's a huge W. 4 seats down, and he sees them. He's gonna put a word in for me.
A little paper airplane down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, what was that?
That's
someone must have thrown it from the rafters.
And it's just gonna say John Hunter.
Yeah.
It's gonna say @ and my Twitter handle, and that's
a picture of Wheels. Picture of Chris Wheeler.
Do you like that picture? That's a great.
Fantastic picture.
That's where I'm at now. I'm all about it. But yeah, boys, great show tonight.
With what we were talking about with the T-shirt giveaway, I figured we only have like a couple of white T-shirts left anyway. Why not just wait until we're about to put in another order to do the giveaway anyway? And whoever wins the giveaway can just pick what color they want and shit instead of limiting them to just a white T-shirt. Might as well give them a choice because we're going to have another. I think we're going to either have a gray T-shirt next or a red one. I think, along with if you want the white or the blue ones. I don't. I didn't even see them in person yet because the ones I wanted to reserve for myself were sold.
If you guys are still watching, or even hit us up on Twitter, on Instagram, hit us up at Philly Sports Alliance. We'll get you your shirt. Absolutely. I feel like the biggest shirt right now is the Columbia blue.
Everyone's loving that. Everyone's loving that shirt. It's obviously
everyone likes the retro.
The retro Philly, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And what I should let everybody know though is in person. It's it's more the Diamond Club logo is more red than it is maroon. So if you were thinking like it would go well with like the old school maroon Phillies hat, it's probably better off with this one, the regular Phillies one. Yeah. I don't know, but like I just know how some people think the blue, the old school blue did go well with the maroon. But this one does have it's blue with red. Just throwing that out there for anybody who wanted to know. But yeah, I got guys, great podcast tonight. I had a lot of fun tonight. Matt's the man. It was awesome to hear from Matt Breen. If anyone didn't know about Matt Breen before you got on here, I'm glad you were able to get exposure to him. He's a smart guy, as you could see, and just knows his stuff about the Philadelphia Phillies. And it was awesome. It was so thank you, Matt Breen, again for coming on.
Like a night off, you had a night off, you didn't have to worry about them, and all of a sudden you're sitting
And
here
this
with
is what he
us.
does.
Like,
Yeah,
we
absolutely.
appreciate that a lot.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Like, that was cool.
But yeah, thank you for coming on, everybody. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching, and we are out.
Phillies follow John Hunter.
Let's go.
Thank you, La Terrain, for the watch.
Oh yes, lots of
there
rain.
it is.
It's hard to. I don't know which way to put my wrist.
That's
I don't know what to
You're
do with my
already-
hands. I just tore my rotator cuff. Thanks, La Terrain.
You're never pitching again.
But yes, thank you. Thank you to La Terrain. It was awesome. Thank you for
There he
great.
is.
There he is.
There he
That was
is.
There he is.
There he is.
I got another
There
one
he is.
upstairs. Great stuff.
La Terrain, the watch
Why
guy.
don't you wear it on the other wrist?
I was going to, but then I was
Or
going to
just
wear
do the-
sunglasses. But we have a very professional episode tonight.
No, thank
we
you
did
for
it.
your support. Thank you for your support.
No, thank you. Like you guys are great. With the discounts
Absolutely.
out there.
Absolutely.
Make sure you hit their website up, their Instagram. They're great guys. They retweet our stuff. We retweet their stuff. So they're a good. They're a good support system. Both of us.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Use promo code PSA for 10% off. So can't beat it.
But all right, boys. Right now the Phillies are winning 9-5. Is it still 9-5? Yes,
Yeah.
9-5. Bottom of the
Bottom
sixth.
Yep.
Let's hope for a win tonight, boys. But yeah, we're out. Thank you for watching. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you, Matt Breen again. Thank you, La Terrain. Thank you, everybody. We appreciate you. We are out. See ya.